It's time for your Low Country real estate market update. It's the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show. Brian is one of the top 1% real estate agents in Charleston. Find him online at listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. Or call him at 843-345-1273. Now, broadcasting from the WTMA studios, here's your host, Brian Beatty.
Good morning, Charleston, and welcome to another edition of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com. I'm your host, Brian Beatty. 8 years I've been on this program, giving you my opinion and expert news and reviews of the real estate market, which is a combination of national, regional, and local real estate data, trends within the market. I share my experiences as somebody that's been in the top 1% of agents in our market for the past 11 years. I've done about a little over $500 million worth of real estate transactions here in the Charleston market, and I help you guys understand what's happening and answer some questions so that you're an informed consumer. You know what's going to happen should you decide to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. And so this show is going to be a very interesting and slightly out of the ordinary, but I think very exciting show. So I'm going to share a text message here in just a second that led to my decision to do this, and frankly, it's been long overdue, but in the studio this morning, I have Donovan Ryder of Charleston Taekwondo, who took our team through a self-defense class earlier in the week, which was awesome, by the way. But Donovan, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So we've been overdue in having a self-defense class for quite a while. We do teach realtor safety on my team, and the reason that I am even bringing this up on this show this morning is because the things that Donovan taught us are applicable to all different types of situations, things that maybe we have heard but forgotten. It's not part of our daily practice. It's not part of our daily routine. And being aware, situationally aware, is incredibly important, not just for us as real estate agents, but for everybody. And so I just wanted to quickly kind of read this text, and this is the reason why we felt it was necessary to go ahead and move forward with this sooner rather than later. And take this text with a grain of salt because it's ridiculous, right? But so here's the text. I'm very sorry for you, Brian Beatty. It's a pity that this is how your life is going to end as soon as you don't comply. As you can see, there's no need of introducing myself to you because I don't have any business with you. My duty, as I am texting you now, is to just kill/assassinate you, and I have to do so as I have already been paid for that. Someone wants you dead by all means, and the person have spent a lot of money on this. The person also came to us and told me that he want you dead, and he promised us to kill you with your name, picture, and other necessary information we need about you. So I sent my boys to track you down, and they've carried out the necessary investigation needed for the operation on you, and they have done that. But I told them not to kill you, that I will like to contact you and see if your life is important to you or not, since their findings show you are innocent. I called my client back and asked him of you and your number, and he said that if you can collect the money and pay him off, that I don't have to kill you. So please call me as soon as possible. That's the text. And it's gone around. It's kind of community-wide among real estate agents. It's not specific to me. A female agent on my team received that same text, and we all know it's a bogus text, but it still just kind of freaks people out. So, Donovan, I have you on the program this morning because, a lot of what you taught is incredibly applicable, but I guess I'd first ask, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like you said, I'm Donovan Ryder. I own Charleston Taekwondo. We have 3 locations here in the Low Country. We have 2 in Mount Pleasant and 1 in Somerville. I grew up, I just wanted to be a Ninja Turtle when I was 7 years old, so my parents put me in a local martial arts school at the rec center, and it just happened to be Taekwondo, but I fell in love with it. I was hooked, and I started competing at a young age, and I had the opportunity to move and train at the Olympic Training Center full-time as an athlete. So I was an Olympic alternate for the 2012 Olympic Games in London. Unfortunately, I tore my ACL and MCL at Olympic trials. But the cool thing about that is it was basically the catalyst for me to move home, move back to Charleston, and start our program. And now we get to make an impact in 600 lives every week.
Awesome. And you bought your first home through my team, which is also very cool.
Yeah, great experience.
So what are some of the key takeaways that you had for our team yesterday? And again, the reason I'm bringing this up is because I'm doing this as a service to you guys because there are things that you need to know, things you need to be aware of, things you need to put into practice in your life to just be safe. You just never know.
Absolutely. So the biggest thing for us is situational awareness. So we do quarterly self-defense seminars, and we love doing them with real estate teams just like yourself and teachers. The challenge we see is people just aren't situationally aware of what's going on around them. We're glued to our phones. We're thinking about what's next, what's for dinner. I got to get my kid to soccer. We're not focused on what's happening, and that makes you a very easy target, essentially.
Right. You had a great example of that where someone gets out of, let's say it's the grocery store or it's just some store, and their car is about, 30, 40, 50 feet away. They hit the unlock button. They're staring at the phone. What happens next?
Exactly. So, what happens is when you unlock your car 30 or 40 feet away, just like you said, now if someone is targeting you, they know exactly where you're going to go. They know the finishing point. They know that you're going to be, like you said, if you're coming out of a grocery store, you're probably thinking about getting the groceries in the car. You're trying to find your keys. Like there's a lot going on, but you're not focused on saving yourself and being situationally aware. So that's one of the big no's we tell people not to do is do not unlock your car until you get super close to it. And fortunately, if you have a newer vehicle, a lot of them will allow them to unlock as you get closer.
Right. What are some of the other takeaways that you had for us? I mean, I certainly have some favorites, but would love to hear from you.
Yeah, absolutely. So in general self-defense, like you said, one, not unlocking your car far away. As soon as you get in your car, make sure you're locking it. So, that is kind of a safety net for you. You should create that as a habit. You wake up, you brush your teeth. Before you go to bed, you brush your teeth. Every time you get inside of your car, lock your door. Because again, that is a time where you're not situationally aware. You're thinking about turning the car on, finding the radio station, maybe getting your podcast going. You're not focused on saving your life and what's going on around you. So that's a big one. Another one is, like you said, if say you're leaving the grocery store at night, we want to make sure that we're parking in very lit areas. A lot of times we're looking for the closest spot to the door when in reality we should be trying to park under a light so that we have illumination around us.
Yep. Real estate agents are just particularly susceptible to creepers, to people that have ill intentions. And so the next few minutes here, really are going to be for the real estate agents, but think about the folks that you invite into your house. Think about contractors that you don't know. Think about people that you're meeting for the first time. This applies to you as well. These are things that you should know and should indoctrinate just into your practice. But let's talk about some specific things for real estate agents, because I know a lot of real estate agents listen to this program. So what are some of those tips and tricks that you would give specific to real estate agents?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the first things is dress for the occasion. Guys typically are going to wear a flat-footed shoe. Females, on the other hand, maybe they're wearing heels or sandals. Just think about if you were in a situation where you had to defend yourself, what would you want to be wearing? And I think that you can still mesh style with functionality. So one thing is just dress for the occasion. If you need to be able to move very quickly and defend yourself, you want to dress for that occasion. Another thing I would say is, getting there ahead of time, which I know a lot of real estate agents do, but getting to that property ahead of time, maybe do a walkthrough, know where your exits are, know if you are in a situation, how do you get out of this house? Are there neighbors next door? Are there people walking by? Just kind of checking out that area, and again, becoming situationally aware of what's going on. And then finally, just making sure that the client is always going first. So whether they're going first into the home, they're going first into the bedrooms, into the closets, you never want to get yourself in a situation where you have someone behind you, especially if they can be behind you and lock the door behind you.
Right. So think about the contractors, just for the everyday homeowner that might come over to your house that you don't know. Maybe you saw them, you found them on Google or whatever. Incredibly important for you to know. Hey, let them walk into the room first. You don't know them. And it's, I train my agents on specific ways of showing property. And you mentioned one of them, which is allowing the client to walk into the room first. The reality is we meet people at home sometimes for the first time. And I would say that, just being a realist, especially for the female agents on my team, that can be fairly nerve-wracking. Meeting, frankly, a stranger in a house for the first time. So we need to take some necessary precautions, which is why at times if you hear an agent that's adamant about meeting you in an office or for coffee, it's not necessarily because we want to rope you into signing some sort of an agreement with us for exclusivity for the rest of your life. It's because we don't know you and we're just trying to be safe. The other thing you mentioned was walking through the house beforehand, showing up early. Gosh, wouldn't it be nice if agents were actually on time? That'd make my life a lot easier. But walking through the house, gaining an understanding of it, where the exits are, preparing the home for the buyer, that would be a nice thing to do. But more often than not, we hear of agents showing up to the property, while the client is already waiting there. And then it's kind of a rush, and the agent doesn't really know anything about the property. And we'll talk about that in a little bit, because that's a good corollary into what we're going to, or springboard into what we're going to talk about next, which is selling property in this market and not letting the frenzy of the market kind of dictate the process. There needs to be a system and processes that surround things like showings, pre-qualifying showings, pre-qualifying buyers and their intentions, and then, of course, using all of that information to create urgency and ultimately leverage that allows us to sell the home for more money. So we'll talk about that and a few other things as time goes on. But, Donovan, with the last few minutes, what are some additional things that you feel is important to share, not just for, real estate agents, it can be for real estate agents, but just in general?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would recommend taking a self-defense class. So at Charleston Taekwondo, like I said, we offer these quarterly. We love doing them. They're absolutely free. We don't charge anything for them. We just really want to partner with our community and hopefully help potentially save someone's life. And that's the worst case scenario. So the reason we do these classes is, you're not going to be Bruce Lee after an hour. You're not going to be a full-on ninja. It is a lot of fun to do it, but the purpose of this class is, again, to create situational awareness. And the other thing is just to let people know that you are stronger than you even think you are. And, a lot of guys grow up and we're wrestling and we're fighting and we're being kind of rough and tough with our boys. But a lot of girls don't do that, and growing up, you're always taught, don't hit people, don't hurt people, don't say bad things. And while that's great for society overall, if someone is attacking you, they're not in a great state of mind. They're not part of a normal society. So they already have bad and ill intentions. So when it comes down to it, we need to be able to turn that switch on and defend ourselves by all means. And the biggest thing we tell people is to do something. Most people clam up when they get attacked and they don't do anything. And that makes you a very easy target. Just knowing that, okay, I know how to throw a palm strike, or I know how to throw a hammer fist. I know how to throw a kick. Just doing it before. It's like doing anything in life. If you had to do it for the first time, you're probably not going to be that great at it. So we highly recommend doing these self-defense courses throughout the year and when you have the ability, so that you can become more familiar with those movements if you need to do them.
Yep, absolutely. I know as just, a husband and as a father, I want to make sure that my family is safe. And so going through something like a self-defense class, and I realized that statement in and of itself has really nothing to do with a real estate-based radio show. But it was just such a great experience, and I felt compelled to have Donovan on the program and share his business and the tactics that he teaches that can, you never know, save your life.
Absolutely.
So I really appreciate you coming onto the program. Share your contact information with us so that if somebody wants to reach out to you to learn more about your self-defense class or your after-school program for kids. In fact, why don't you touch on that for a quick second, because my kids went through it and they loved it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're kind of a one-stop shop for parents. Our goal is to provide an amazing atmosphere for your family to learn martial arts and learn character development. So we offer kids and adult martial arts classes from ages 3 up. So as long as you feel like you want to come try a class, you're welcome to come do that. We also offer after-school programs where we pick up your child from their facility. They come back to our school. They do a daily martial arts class. It does include their snack, their homework time, and we also have indoor and outdoor facilities at all of our locations. And then this summer, we're gearing up for summer camps. So we're super excited about that. Every week has a different theme. Our summer camp is from 7:30 a.m. until 6 p.m. So we try to mimic a school day for parents, just so you know that your kid's taken care of and they're having a blast. But you can check us out, charlestontKD.com, or just shoot us an email at support@charlestontKD.com, and we'd be happy to set you up with any of our programs.
Awesome. Donovan, thanks for coming on the program. Pleasure to have you, and this week was a lot of fun. And by the way, check out our website and give us a few more days to edit the video. You'll see some of our team members kicking some butt. It was pretty cool. So.
Yep.
Thanks again for that. Stick around, folks, for more of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com.
Stay tuned for more of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com. 1250 WTMA. Now, here's more of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA.
Welcome back, Charleston, as the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show continues here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com. Huge shout out to Donovan Ryder of Charleston Taekwondo. Thanks for coming on the program. And guys, I realize that's a little out of the ordinary from what you hear from me as far as this radio show is concerned, but man, it's just good stuff to know. I think about these things, being a parent, being a husband, being a business owner. It's just good to be safe. Good to know your surroundings and know what to do in the event something were to happen. So obviously we're going to switch gears now. We're going to talk about real estate. Yeehaw. I know you guys are excited about it as much as I am, right? First, let me just say, if you guys are thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate, and you want to reach out to me, you want to have a conversation, you want to better understand the market, you maybe want to try and take some shortcuts. I mean, my God, there are so many people out there right now with intent. They want to buy, they want to sell. And because of this huge lack of inventory that we have, this market that is literally starving for inventory, they choose to basically do nothing, right? If they need to sell their home before they buy a home, but they can't find a home they want to buy, they don't put their home on the market, which would allow other buyers to purchase their home, and it's just perpetuating the problem. So we have been very diligent, very purposeful, and frankly, very successful, especially over the past year during this pandemic, in aligning buyers and sellers off market. We have the ability to look at our entire database of people, which we have spent a lot of time, energy, and resources on to optimize this way. I don't know of other teams that have the ability to do what we do, quite honestly. Well, I can look at a house, I can type in an address, bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, generalized price range, and I know how many buyers I have in my database right now that are looking at similar properties on my website. There's 17,000 of them in total that have searched properties on my website that I can communicate with about your home, regardless of whether it's on the market or not. That's been really successful for us. And then for buyers, same thing. Hey, I have these particular criteria in mind. I want this number of bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, locations, subdivisions, whatever it might be. I can do the same thing. So if you're thinking about buying or selling, maybe skip to the front of the line and call us first and see if we have somebody that is already a fit for you, because no one else is going to know about it. It's not public knowledge. So if that's something I can help you with, 843-400-8009 is my phone number, 843-400-8009, or check us out online, listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. You can search the MLS. You can learn more about myself and my team, and you can learn more about our incentives, which we're going to be rolling out a really exciting incentive here in just a few minutes. Probably the beginning of the next segment here, maybe tail end of this segment. But we've taken a really close look at the market and listened to feedback, and we've got some exciting news for you on that. So, the other thing that I'll just mention really quickly is that you don't have to be the person that wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate right now to call and have a conversation with us. If you just want to have an understanding of what's happening in the market, you want to start to put a plan in place, even if that means just understanding what the plan is. We're happy to have those conversations too. Or maybe you need help with a recommendation for a contractor. Like I was mentioning last segment, we have these folks that come into our homes that we don't know. We need to be careful about that. I have the pleasure of having been in this business for 16 years almost at this point. I know the folks to call when you have an issue or you want something done inside or to your house. So if you need a recommendation, let me know. 843-400-8009. That's 843-400-8009, or go to listingsincharleston.com. So let's talk about, obviously the market, just same thing from Brian, right? Same thing, different week. Inventory is low, right? I'm sure you guys are as sick of hearing it as I am of saying it. But it's getting worse and worse and worse. So it's funny. I was looking at a memory on Facebook, last night, and it was an instructional video that I put up on our Facebook page showing the serious decline in inventory over like a 3-month period from the time that COVID kind of initially hit and was declared a national emergency, which I think was March 13th, to then like 3 months after that in June. And the extreme shortage of inventory that we thought we saw at that point in time, it was certainly different from what we would have expected, because usually in March we see inventory go up, right? The seasonality of our market starts to kick in. People that want to sell their home before school starts put their home on the market. But we saw the exact opposite. Instead of new listings and inventory kind of inching up, we saw it take a dive downward, and that has continued. I know a lot of people, especially if they're looking at, line charts, are kind of wondering the same thing with regard to the stock market, certain stocks. When will it end? When will it stop? And it's kind of tough to get a read on it right now. I'll be perfectly honest. It's tough to get a read on a market when we have such an extreme shortage of inventory in certain areas. And the reason for that is because, when I walk through a home with an owner, and we do all the standard things that you would expect. We walk through the property, we talk about the condition, we talk about staging, decluttering. If at times I feel like, man, maybe this is going to be a little bit more of a project than just moving, 2 or 3 things around, then I'll offer to have our professional designer and decorator walk through the house, room by room, give them a to-do list, which is really more of a, hey, here's what you need to do. Here's what you could do. Here's what I would not spend your time and money on. And so they walk away with the list room by room of here's how we're going to prep your home for sale so that as soon as it hits the market, we're getting the best offers at the best prices. Now, in this market, you could choose not to do those things, but it has been my experience that when you front load a little bit of time and effort and energy, very rarely does that mean resources, right? Sometimes it means painting and maybe doing something with some flooring or some repairs. But more often than not, we're talking about just giving everything a nice polish, rearranging some things here and there. We all get very comfortable in living in our homes, and we sometimes don't view our home as a product, right, that we're selling to somebody. It's, hey, I'm comfortable. This is how I like it. So we're going to make sure that we show the home in the best light. And so when we get this home prepared for sale and it's marketed well and it's priced appropriately, almost every single time we're getting multiple offers. Almost every single time. Now, that is part of the strategy, and I think for good reason, because it allows you to have buyers fight over one another. That will end up giving you, in my opinion, a more attractive offer, better terms, better price than they would if, say, I would walk through a property and say, all right, well, let's just say that, the fair market value for your house is $400,000. All right, that's what I think it's worth. Now, how much do you want to list it for? That's a process that several agents go through. It's a process that I'll offer, right, or a suggestion that I'll offer. But I want you guys to understand the strategies associated with selling property, right? So you can either list it at very close to what it's worth, maybe a few percentage points more. You're probably going to get multiple offers. You're going to be able to choose the best deal out of the stack. That person that you choose also knows, by the way, that if they don't toe the line, if they try to get too aggressive during negotiations, then you already have backups. You have other people you can talk to. And those people already missed out on this opportunity. So if we were to go back to them and say, hey, this deal's getting a little shaky. I don't know if it's going to close. Are your buyers still interested? And they say, heck yeah, I am. Well, then now we can use that as leverage against the first deal that we took to say, hey, it's either you or it's somebody else. But this is what the seller's saying. It's a nice position to be in from a negotiation standpoint. But the other option is, all right, let's say it's worth $400,000. How much do you want to list it for? $450,000, $475,000. Because inventory is so low, and I'm not saying that doesn't work, because in a market where inventory is at an extreme low, like it is right now, the gap between what a home is worth and what a buyer is willing to pay widens, right? In a normal market, it's pretty safe to assume that if this is what it's worth, then it's going to sell for pretty close to what it's worth. But obviously in a market like this, we have people that are willing to pay 5, 10, 15% more than what a property is worth just to get the house, just to lock in that really low interest rate, or just to feel like, hey, I won. I could afford it, so I might as well just go for it, is what some of these buyers, I think, are thinking and feeling when they get into a multiple offer situation. Hopefully you're not so competitive a person that you make a poor financial decision. That's obviously what we as real estate agents are here for, is to help you establish some benchmarks to say, hey, emotion removed, this is what this property is worth. This is how much, we think it will appraise for, essentially, especially if they're getting a mortgage. But now appraisers are doing appraisal waivers. We can talk more about that a little bit later. But the point in telling you all of this is that when it comes time to sell your house, you should have some options. You should have strategies. And one of the options that we feel is really important is the ability for you to choose your commission rate. There's, in my opinion, no one size fits all, one plan for the many. Plug a seller into a system and put them on a conveyor belt and expect the same results with a bunch of different types of properties and people in totally different situations with different levels of motivation and different time frames. So that is why we have commission-based options that range all the way down as low as 1% and up, but are most popular now, the one where you basically get everything, right? We don't pull any marketing. There's no expense that we spare, and we're doing it now for 2.4%. 2.4% listing commission. Now, we'll explain more about that when we come back. How about that? I'm going to just let that sink in for a second. If you want to learn more about working with my team, getting a 2.4% listing commission, then give me a call, 843-400-8009. That's 843-400-8009. Or check us out online, listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. So stick around, folks, for more of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show here on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com.
It's the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show. Broadcast Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday mornings at 10 on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA. 1250 WTMA. You're listening to the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com.
Welcome back, Charleston, as the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show continues here on the Big Talker 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com. I always like to take just a moment and say thank you to those of you that listen to this program and rely on the information within it to help you better understand the real estate market, the real estate process, how important it is to work with a real estate agent that you can trust, that you know is going to get the job done for you. If I can be that person for you, if you're thinking about buying, selling, or investing in real estate, I'd love the opportunity to earn your business. You can call me at 843-400-8009. You can call or text me, again, 843-400-8009. Or check me out online, listingsincharleston.com, listingsincharleston.com. You can also email me, brian@brianbeattyteam.com. So I want to talk about something that's kind of a sensitive topic in real estate. It's something that agents certainly don't really like to talk about. And it's something that sometimes clients feel nervous talking about or asking about, and that's commission. Sometimes people just, and they ask how much commission it is, and the agent will tell them, and then they say, oh, okay, all right. And it's because they don't understand the differences between what agents offer and what they get for the money. What are they getting when they pay for that commission, when that commission is deducted from that seller's proceeds? And so I want to just have kind of a head-on conversation about this, because this is important for you to know, especially if you guys have been following the market. You know that selling real estate in this type of market right now, it's not the hardest thing on the planet. It's certainly a lot easier to do it than when I was licensed, and it was back in 2008, 2009, when it was just incredibly hard. And then inventory, we had 12,000 plus homes for sale at one point in time back in 2011. Now we have like 1,700. And our inventory is down like 70% ish from last year, or from the beginning of last year at least. I mean, it's been incredible to watch the number of homes available for sale go down and down and down and down and down to the point where it's unhealthy almost. Well, not almost, it is. It's not a normal balanced market because there's two sides to the equation, right? There's the buyer and the seller. So in this type of market where it seems like as soon as something hits the market, it has multiple offers, it's having sellers question how necessary it is to have a real estate agent even be involved in the process. Why not just sell for sale by owner? Why not save the commission and sell it on my own? Well, that's the for sale by owner topic is a different topic for a different time, because I really want to unwrap that, and I've got some really important tips for you guys if you're going to try that. And hey, if you want to try it, more power to you. If you can get it sold and not pay a commission, again, more power to you. But I think you need to have some really clear expectations about the process and about what you're about to get yourself into, and things that you need to know to protect yourself, both contractually, physically, mentally, emotionally. It's not as easy as it looks. And so they'll see this property that hits the market, and the next day or the next 2-3 days, it's under contract. It had multiple offers. It closes in 30 days after that, and then this agent gets a big fat commission check, and they're like, "Wow, that was so easy for them, easiest amount of money they've ever earned. I'm going to get into real estate." And that's literally happening. So now we have, over 7,000 real estate agents in our market. We've got less than, there's 5 properties for sale for every agent we have. Basically, think about it that way. 4 to 5 agents. So it then begs the question, well, is it necessary for me to pay a really high commission? There are still plenty of agents out there that are charging 7, 8, 9%, commission. Why? That's the seller's question. Why spend that much money? Now, first of all, let me just say there are special properties, there are unique properties, there are homes that require very specialized marketing and very specialized attention, and an agent that knows what they're doing. But that's not the norm. The norm, the everyday home in a family-friendly neighborhood, a 4-bed, 2.5-bath home, that thing is going to sell probably in a few days. In order for that to happen, though, you have to get several things right. You've got to have that focus on condition. It has to be marketed well. The photos have to be done well. The description has to be written properly. And you have to work with a real estate agent that knows how to play the game. And by that, I mean an agent that knows how to walk through a house, determine what it's actually worth, and then what they think they can sell it for above that amount, so long as they feel they can get away with it. And the reason I say that is we'll have these agents that don't have this upfront conversation with their seller. So let's say they're walking through a house. The agent thinks it's worth $400,000. The owner wants to list it for $450,000. And the agent says, "Oh yeah, $450,000 all day long. Absolutely. Shouldn't be a problem." Blah, blah, blah. It's all, yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. They're doing everything they can to get that person to sign on the dotted line. And then once it hits the market and things don't go according to plan, or at least according to the seller's plan, which is, hey, we're getting multiple offers this weekend, we're packing up next week. Then they start to wonder what's happening. Then the relationship between the agent and the seller becomes a little combative in nature. Not that warm and fuzzy relationship that agents hope they have with their clients, because the agent, and it's the agent's responsibility, and I will not back down from that. It is the agent's responsibility to tell the homeowner that agent's opinion of value. They're the expert, not the homeowner. Yes, there are obviously some instances in which the owner has actually sold more real estate than the agent. But you brought us over for a reason, or at least the experienced ones, the ones that know what they're doing. And it's our responsibility to be straightforward with you. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that because your home is worth X, that we're only going to list it for that price. Let's talk about strategies. What do we want to accomplish? How much time are we willing to wait in order to get a certain price for the property? Or if we don't have that time, then how low are we willing to go, or what would we ultimately be willing to accept so long as we accomplish the goal within that time frame? Not everybody has the luxury of waiting around for the highest and best possible offer that can be made on their house. Maybe somebody got a new job and they're moving out of state, and they don't want to have to move there by themselves. They want to bring their family with them. I mean, there are all these different situations that can occur when selling real estate, which is why we also kind of encourage buyers and help them understand that, hey, not every seller has the luxury, again, of waiting for their pie-in-the-sky price. Some people have to move. Some people don't have the ability to fix up their home before they put it on the market. Some people are in financial duress right now, and they're willing to do deals. I'm still hearing stories, and we're still helping people buy investment properties. And you would think in a market like this, man, there shouldn't be anything available for an investor to buy. Not true. I mean, we're still finding deals that are significant percentages off of the asking or off the fair market value. All of these properties need work. All of them are in some sort of situation, right? Very rarely do you just find a random homeowner with a nice home that's willing to take 60 to 70 cents on the dollar. That's not happening. And if it does, it's such a, once in a blue moon type thing that you can't hang your hat on that. So, back to the seller and the person that wants to sell, they're trying to move into a different home, but they just don't know what to do. They don't know where to start. Do I find the home first and then put my property on the market? Do I put my property on the market and then try and find a home? I'll tell you that the answer to that is it depends. And I know that you want some specific direction on that. I will tell you that the challenge of finding a home first and then putting the property on the market is that the seller it's very unlikely that they will take your offer seriously because they don't want to have to wait for you to put your property on the market and wait for somebody to come along and make an offer that you'll ultimately accept and that deal will close. So what's been really exciting over the past few weeks is that we partnered with a company that allows us to upgrade our offer on any offer to a cash offer, and it just costs 1% to the borrower to do that. I'm going to explain what that means here in just a second, but we now have the ability to take any offer from a buyer and turn it into a cash offer. So I'll explain how in just a second. Stick with us for the last few minutes of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA, WTMA.com. And again, if you want to reach out to me, you don't want to wait, and you want to learn more about that product, 843-400-8009. Again, that's 843-400-8009. Or go to listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. There is limited capital for this program. So if it's something you're interested in, you do have to act quickly on that. 843-400-8009 or listingsincharleston.com. I'll be right back, folks.
Visit Brian Beatty's website at listingsincharleston.com. The Brian Beatty Real Estate Show continues next on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA.
1250 WTMA, the Big Talker.
Now, the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show continues on Charleston's Big Talker, 1250 WTMA.
Welcome back, folks, to the last few minutes of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA and WTMA.com. So a few things have been let out of the bag today. So number one, 2.4% listing commission. We've taken a really hard look at what I think the public needs right now. and what we can offer, and through just the sheer fact that we sell a lot of real estate and we have economies of scale, we have the ability to offer savings to our clients, but not reduce anything that we offer. So that means, professional photography, videography, 3D tours, all of our targeted marketing. And by that, I mean, yes, we have actual ways of finding people interested in your specific property, identifying them, and then proactively marketing to them, rather than just putting your home on a bunch of websites and hoping that people stumble across your home and inquire. We have a way of actually reaching out to those particular people first. We seek them out. It's worked wonders in our business. It has worked wonders for our sellers. And so it comes with a bunch of other guarantees and things that we've developed over time that we feel is important to offer to people as both a differentiating factor among us and other agents, but also because, we want to do the very best job that we can for you guys. So if that's something you want to learn more about, 843-400-8009. That's 843-400-8009. Or check us out online, listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. 2.4% commission. And then I just left you with another kind of big bomb, which is that we have partnered with a company, and their idea is brilliant. Let's say you're a first-time home buyer, and you're putting the minimum amount down. Say you're an FHA buyer. You're putting 3.5% down. Maybe you've made an offer or two, and you've just gotten outbid by other buyers. And maybe you're making competitive bids, but maybe the sellers went ahead and took somebody that was putting 20% down, or maybe somebody else was paying cash. And it just seems like the deck is a little stacked against you. So this company will give the seller a guarantee that that deal that you're going to propose can close no matter what, even if this company has to pay cash for it. So a buyer, let's just do a quick scenario here. So the buyer makes an offer. Included in that offer is a contingency for financing. Hey, we've got to get a mortgage. It's going to be an FHA mortgage. We're only going to put 3.5% down, but we have the backing of a company that says that, hey, no matter what happens, if this buyer doesn't get this loan, we're going to buy it for cash. Okay, this company will buy it for cash, and then you, the buyer, can just buy the property from this company. Now, if you want just the guarantee that they will pay cash for the property, it just costs you 1%. If you want this company to purchase this property for you, and then you rent it back from that company until you're ready to buy it, then it just costs you 2%. We've worked with lenders to absorb a portion of those fees. You can get the seller to pay a portion or all of those fees so that it literally costs you nothing. Yes, you're inflating the price 1 or 2%, assuming the other lender doesn't absorb some of the fees there. But it's just been this incredible aha moment in our business where, think about the people that want to sell their home and then buy another, but they don't want to put their home on the market before they find a property they want to buy because they don't want to be homeless. Makes perfect sense. Well, now we have the ability to say, hey, let's go and find the house that you want to buy. And then once we find it, we'll make them an offer and we'll say, hey, it doesn't matter if we sell our home or not. I guarantee you this deal will close, even if it has to be done in cash through this company, while I wait to sell my property. Now, in the grand scheme of things, do you still have time to sell your property? Absolutely. Even if it takes an extra month or two for you to sell your property and you have to rent the house out that you just had this company buy for you for a month or two, so be it. It gives you the peace of mind and it gives you the ability to actually get the home you want, not the third or fourth or fifth home you want after having missed out on a few other opportunities. If you want more information on this program, like I mentioned, the funds for this program are somewhat limited. So if you're interested, you got to act pretty quickly on this one. 843-400-8009 is my number. 843-400-8009. or check us out online, listingsincharleston.com. Thanks so much for listening to the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show. You guys enjoy your weekend.
Join us for another edition of the Brian Beatty Real Estate Show next Saturday morning at 9 and Sunday morning at 10. Contact Brian Beatty online at listingsincharleston.com. That's listingsincharleston.com. Or call him at 843-400-8009.